mindset, I believe, will change your life. Okay, so you know that we are logical creatures. You know, we put a lot of weight on information, and especially today with the internet, AI, information is free and vast. There's a lot of people regurgitating, there's a lot of copy and paste out there. And I think it's easy to get sucked up in knowing, right? And knowledge is very different than wisdom. And I think the difference is wisdom requires experience. This is why I think a lot of people who um, are older are more wise. But if you're, it's not just because you're of your age; it's because you've experienced more of life. Now, if you're older but you have not left your house, then you definitely are not wise, right? And so when I think about one of the greatest mindsets, at least for me, um, it's this question I try to ask myself daily, and it's what new experience do I want to give myself? So, half of my life, I was obsessed with knowing and information and data. Um, and I think if that's kind of where you put your life chips, you could also not do a lot of things. You could not pull the trigger on a lot of things. You could not execute a lot of things because you just need more information, and information is endless, right? And so there's a lot of like second guessing. There's a lot of, I had this idea, but then, 5 seconds later, I need to prove that it's going to work. And so there's not a lot of just going out and doing shit and failing and learning, right? There's a lot of hesitation. The second half of my life, I put more weight on the experience. I asked myself, what new experience do I want to give myself, right? And through that experience, um, how can I rewire, recondition, reposition myself to constantly grow, evolve, expand? And so let me give you an example. Here's like an everyday example, a real example that's coming up in my life. So there's this jet ski trip from Long Beach here in California to Catalina. Catalina is an island, it's 2 hours away. And it's something I've always wanted to do, but I am afraid of the water. So if anything touches me in the water, I will, like Jesus, be on walking or actually running on the water back to shore. Now, riding a jet ski 2 hours into the, abyss to an island can be terrifying about an hour in when you're in the middle of the ocean, and, they say there's a 99% chance you will run into dolphins. And by the way, dolphins are like they're rapists of the sea, right? They're aggressive or can be. Um, Flipper's no joke. Wait, you guys don't know who Flipper is. You guys are way too young to know the Flipper reference. Flipper was a TV show back in the day. I think even before my time. About a dolphin was the the lead character. Anyway, sea lions and dolphins and maybe whales we will run into, right? And so I'm terrified to do this, but I'm doing it because I want to give myself the experience of doing it. Here's the thing. I can Google, I can, look at documentary videos, I could learn everything possible about riding a jet ski in the ocean for 2 hours or about sea animals or anything that is, under the umbrella of doing that trip. And I can imagine, but none of that will actually be felt in my body as much as actually doing it, right? And so getting on a jet ski, being a little scared, but also it's exhilarating. I love machines. And so it's a water motorcycle, right? I also, by the way, have I get seasick. So that's also a little bit of a worry. But I'll take my Dramamine and I'm gonna go into the ocean with about 5 other dudes, and we're gonna jet ski 2 hours to an island. The experience of that, the experience of, you know, the exhilaration, the fear, all the stuff that comes with it in the middle of the ocean. I'm gonna have a lot of moments. I'm gonna have a lot of somatic moments, I'm sure. And that experience is going to produce wisdom. It's going to produce a knowing. It's going to produce the felt sense, right? More so than any information, anything I can read, anything I can watch, right? You agree. Okay. So, using that example, how is that any different than love, building a business, relationships, any kind of physical, goals that you have? It's going to be in the experience and also many reps to earn your tree rings, to earn courage, and to dissolve fear. Also, uh, the new experience can be corrective, you know? So, a lot of false beliefs that we have, yes, you can, have affirmations. You can do a lot of things to kind of, I think, chip away at your false beliefs, but there's nothing more convincing than an experience. And so to have a corrective experience, for example, if you've only been in toxic relationships, if you've only been in giving yourself love experiences that were unhealthy, right? You could read about healthy love. You could hear stories about healthy love. You could watch movies. I mean, documentaries. But until you actually are in a relationship that is healthy and you convince your body that this is what healthy looks like and feels like, um, you're not really giving yourself a corrective experience. And so the mindset is all about what experience do I want to convince my body of? What experience do I want to give my body of? So I can convince not only my mind, but my body, my felt self, what is possible or what something actually is. It's not imagination. It's actually true because we're experiencing it, right? And it doesn't have to be like I said, like the example I use where I'm riding jet skis to Catalina. Um, it could be something in the mundane. It could be in the day to day. It can be like, for example, I want to give myself the experience today, just to push myself harder than I ever have physically. I want to give myself the experience of dunking myself in ice for more than say 4 minutes because I've never done that, and I want to know what that feels like. I want to give myself the experience of kindness, making eye contact, saying thank you. I want to give myself the experience of um, maybe making love to my partner in a way that I didn't before. So, like, or engaging with my child in a way that I didn't before. What new experience do you want to give yourself today? I think it's something that we have to ask ourselves every day. So there's intention behind our day, and we are constantly giving ourselves new experiences. If not, the default's just always going to be spinning in your head. Worry, dread, fear, cognitive distortions, right? The giant what if and the future tripping and then dwelling on the past. I think it's in the new experience, especially a corrective experience where you start to prove yourself wrong, where you start to believe different. And once you start to believe that because it's more convincing, because you just experienced it, then anything's possible. And you keep giving yourself new experiences. With this new mindset, with this new angle in life, I know it doesn't sound like it's a big deal, but it really is because stretched over time, if every day you wake up and you're like, what new experience do I want to give myself? And that's what you go after instead of what do I want to learn, right? And of course, learning is great, information is great, knowledge is required as well. But if you are going to put more weight on the experience over knowledge, especially today where knowledge is free and vast and endless, you're going to start living life more in color, and you're going to um, start dissolving old beliefs, false beliefs. You're going to start believing something different. And I also think that as you give yourself more new experiences, corrective experiences, whether fitness, love, dating, relationships, adventure, whatever they are, creativity. Um, well, let's put it this way. Okay, so under physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, sexual, um, what are some of our other foundational human basic needs? So those are a few. Creative need. As long as you're giving yourselves new corrective experiences in each of those, that's my definition of expanding, of growing, of attracting. And so I don't know if this is something you thought about before, but I'm just offering it to you today. When you wake up tomorrow, ask yourself, what new experience do I want to give myself? And also, like, what's getting in the way of that, right? And also, don't tie the new experience to any kind of worth. You know, the new experience, of course, has value, and you are trying to give yourself that. But if you can't or you don't, it doesn't then mean that you're worth less or you're defective or whatever, right? So, um, I would not tie that to anything, and at the same time, go after it as like a muzzled greyhound, because putting weight on experience is how you're going to not only dissolve false beliefs but live fully. You know, if not, naturally we'll default to logic, spinning thoughts, and overthinking. Real quick before I go, I want to remind you uh, of a new book out. It's called Breakup on Purpose, and it's all about the 8 different types of breakups, because I don't think there's a one fits all when it comes to what is prescribed. And, I feel like no one ever has talked about all the different types of breakups. So, in my new book, I talk about everything from the flat soda breakup to the Telemundo, I need to get a restraining order, soap opera breakup, to the uh, mutual breakup, to a divorce, to being blindsided, right? All these different types of breakups. And also, if you're not going through a breakup, this book is really good for you, because a lot of us carry residue from previous breakups. And it's time to start working through that so we can move on. And also, if you're in a relationship, bring more to the table, right? You could grab my book right now. It's available pre order bit.ly, bit.ly/ all lowercase breakuponpurpose.com. bit.ly /breakuponpurpose.com. And here's what else I'm doing. I have a new app called Sing on Purpose coming out, with like-minded singles going through it, community, and I'm going to run a breakup club in there. So if you're going through a breakup, get the book, and probably Decemberish, maybe for the new year, January, I'm going to use the book as criteria as we go through the entire book and process our breakups, turning our breakups into breakthroughs. Thank you for listening. Be well.